Imagine two people. One spends every day chasing money, working overtime, looking for better jobs, waiting for the next paycheck. The other barely talks about money at all. Yet somehow, every year, they become dramatically wealthier. Here's the strange part. If you study self-made millionaires, billionaire founders, and history's greatest investors, you'll discover a pattern that almost nobody notices. The wealthiest people rarely wake up asking, "How can I make more money today?" Instead, they ask a completely different question, and that single question changes everything. Because the biggest secret about wealth is that rich people don't chase money. They build something that forces money to chase them. Once you understand how that works, you'll never think about money the same way again. Part 1. The biggest lie we all believe. From the moment we're children, we're taught a simple formula. Study hard, get good grades, find a secure job, work harder than everyone else, earn more money. It sounds logical, and for millions of people it becomes the blueprint for life. So they spend years chasing promotions, switching companies, negotiating higher salaries, always believing the next paycheck will finally make life feel secure. But something strange keeps happening. Every raise feels exciting for a few weeks, then it becomes normal. Suddenly, the bigger house feels average. The newer car doesn't feel special anymore. The expensive phone becomes just another phone. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. Humans quickly adapt to improvements, which means chasing more money often creates a moving finish line. The target keeps moving, no matter how fast you run. That's why two people earning vastly different incomes can feel equally stressed. One worries about paying rent, the other worries about maintaining a luxury lifestyle. Different numbers, same feeling. Most people think they have an income problem, but in reality, they have a direction problem. They're chasing money, while wealthy people are chasing something completely different, and that's where the real story begins. Part 2. The wealth shift. So if rich people aren't chasing money, what are they chasing? The answer isn't a secret hidden inside a finance book. It's hidden in the way they see the world. Imagine you're standing beside a river. Most people walk to the river every single day, filling one bucket at a time. If they stop carrying buckets, the water stops. Now imagine someone else. Instead of carrying buckets, they spend months building a pipeline. At first, it looks like they're making no progress. They're digging, measuring, building, while everyone else is already bringing home water. But one day, they finish the pipeline, and from that moment on, water flows to them every single day, even while they sleep. That's the difference between chasing money and building systems. Most people are paid for the hours they work. Wealthy people spend those same hours creating something that can keep producing value long after they're done working. A business, a piece of software, a book, an investment, a brand, intellectual property. None of these make someone rich overnight. In fact, most of them pay almost nothing in the beginning. That's why so many people give up too early. They mistake a slow start for failure. But the wealthy understand something most people never do. The first dollar is the hardest dollar. Once a system exists, every improvement makes the next dollar easier to earn. Think about someone who owns an apartment building. They're not getting paid because they woke up at 6 a.m. They're getting paid because they own an asset that continues creating value. Or think about an entrepreneur. The business doesn't reward them for every hour they work. It rewards them for solving a problem that thousands or even millions of people are willing to pay for. That's why wealthy people often ask a completely different question than everyone else. Instead of asking, "How can I make more money?" they ask, "How can I create something that keeps creating value without needing me every minute?" It's a small change in wording, but it's a completely different operating system because money isn't the goal, it's the result. And the people who understand that eventually stop running after money. They build something that makes money come looking for them. But even that isn't the biggest advantage they have, because there's one resource they protect even more than money. And once you notice it, you'll understand why some people become wealthy while others stay trapped chasing the next paycheck forever. Part 3. The only thing rich people refuse to waste. If you asked most people what they'd do with an extra $1 million, they'd probably talk about the things they'd buy. A bigger house, a luxury car, exotic vacations, maybe even retiring early. But if you ask someone who's already wealthy, you'll often hear a very different answer. They don't think about buying more things, they think about buying more time. Because after a certain point, money stops being the most valuable resource. Time becomes the one thing you can never earn back. Every person on earth wakes up with the same 24 hours. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or a college student. Nobody gets more. The only difference is how those hours are spent. Most people trade their time directly for money. 1 hour worked, 1 hour paid. But wealthy people spend years trying to break that equation. They ask, how can I make my time worth more without working more hours? That's why they automate repetitive tasks. They hire experts instead of trying to master everything themselves. They build teams. They create systems. They eliminate decisions that don't matter. Not because they're lazy, but because they understand something that most people overlook. Every hour spent on a low-value task is an hour that can't be spent creating something far more valuable. Imagine two business owners. One spends the entire day answering emails, organizing files, solving tiny problems. The other spends those same hours designing a new product, building partnerships, or thinking 5 years into the future. Both are busy, but only one is creating exponential value. This is why wealthy people often appear calm. It's not because they have fewer problems. It's because they've intentionally removed themselves from problems that don't deserve their attention. They protect their focus the same way others protect their savings. And that's where another invisible shift happens. Most people believe wealth comes from working harder. But the truly wealthy know. Wealth comes from making each hour produce more value than the hour before. They're no longer measuring success by effort. They're measuring it by leverage. Because once your time starts creating value, even when you're not actively working, you're no longer chasing money. You're building a system that grows without depending on every hour of your life. But there's still one question left unanswered. If money follows value, where does that value actually come from? The answer is the final piece of the puzzle. And it's the reason some people seem to attract opportunity wherever they go. Part 4. The Law of Attraction for Value. There's a famous quote often repeated in business. Money is simply a byproduct of value. At first, it sounds like motivational advice, but it's actually one of the most practical principles behind wealth. Think about the products you use every day. The phone in your pocket, the apps you open, the websites you visit, the businesses you trust. None of them became successful because they chased money. They became successful because they solved a problem for millions of people. And money followed. That's the pattern you'll see over and over again. The wealthiest people don't wake up asking, where can I find money? They ask, what problem can I solve? Because every problem solved creates value. And value attracts people. People attract opportunity. Opportunity attracts money. It's a chain reaction. Break the first link. And the rest never happens. This is why chasing money often pushes it further away. When money becomes the goal, shortcuts become tempting. Decisions become emotional. And people start thinking only about immediate rewards. But when creating value becomes the goal, something changes. You begin building skills instead of chasing paychecks. You focus on trust instead of attention. You think in years instead of weeks. And without realizing it, you've started thinking like the people you once admired. That's the invisible shift. Wealth isn't created the moment money arrives. It's created much earlier, in the habits you build, the decisions you repeat, and the problems you choose to solve. Money is simply the visible result of those invisible choices. So maybe the question was never, why don't rich people chase money? Maybe the better question is, what are they building that makes money come to them? Because once you stop treating money as the destination and start treating it as the outcome, everything changes. You stop running after opportunities and start becoming the kind of person opportunities look for. That's why the richest people rarely appear obsessed with money. They understand something most people spend a lifetime trying to learn. Money follows value. Value follows purpose. And purpose always outlasts a paycheck. This is Cult Nexus. We explore the hidden psychology behind money, wealth, power, and human behavior, breaking down what most people never notice. So you don't just watch, you understand. If you want to see how the world really works, you're in the right place. Subscribe and explore the unknown.